Hey there, it's Clay, and it's a dangerous sort of situation out there. It's a dangerous world out there, especially when it comes to relationships, dating, and really saving relationships. There are a lot of things that can mess you up. There are a lot of traps that you can fall into that could send you down the wrong path, that could extend the time that it takes to get back together, that could actually cause you to do more damage to the process of getting back together, and can actually even hold you back. So today we're going to be talking about 5 traps that keep you from getting back together with your ex. And please stay tuned through to the end because we have some very important things to talk about throughout this video and also at the end of this video. So the first trap is being over attached to outcome. We've talked about this in a couple recent videos, so I'm not going to belabor this point too much. But if you're too focused on saving the relationship that you lose touch with the actual person that's in front of you and where they're at emotionally, you're basically broadcasting the message to them that you're not interested in listening to where they're at, that you're not interested in hearing them, you're not interested in connecting with them. And that's just going to further validate to them that breaking up with you and not being in a relationship with you was the right choice for them. So we really want to be careful about being overly attached to outcome. And we want to do the mental and emotional work on ourselves to learn how to be more detached from outcome and meet them where they're at emotionally if it's down here, okay? Trap number 2 is falling into this whole game of them versus me. You know, it's us versus them. It's the ex versus us. It's men versus women. It's people with this attachment style versus people with that attachment style. It's people with this love language versus people with that love language. It's people with this personality type versus people with that personality type. It's people from this country or this social class or this whatever versus people that are just like me. We have to be careful about this because there's so much of a reason for doing this. You know, of course, you just go anywhere in society these days. If you're just buying groceries at the store, you'll see all sorts of magazines and stuff when you're checking out that basically say, you know, hey, men are this way, women are that way. Or if you know, obviously the two of you used to be together in a relationship. You've probably seen a lot of TV shows and movies that tell you that you're supposed to hate your ex's guts because they're terrible for some reason. And, you know, I don't know, maybe there is some bad blood between the two of you that needs to be resolved. Maybe. If so, do that. But oftentimes people don't necessarily have this big blowout dramatic breakup. But still, we are conditioned from society. We are conditioned from the way that we have been raised, the experiences that we've had, the relationships that we've had, etc., to often see things as, you know, them versus us. And this is a very dangerous game to play because it's going to make connecting so much more difficult. You know, rather than looking at someone as like, oh, you're a narcissist, or you have this psychological condition, or you have this attachment style, or you have this personality type, or you have this gender, or you have this whatever. And therefore, you're doing this bizarre thing that's, you know, withdrawing or pulling away or not talking about things or lashing out or whatever. You're going to totally be disconnected from the actual emotional reason why they're doing that. You know, like let's just take attachment styles as a very popular example these days. It's sort of the pop psychology flavor of the week, right? And I'm sure in a year or two, people will be off talking about something else instead of attachment styles, just like they were, you know, back when I first started on YouTube. You know, it's easy to look and say, oh, well, you know, they don't want to talk about their feelings because they're an avoidant, right? Spoiler alert, pretty much everyone's partner that I work with would probably be classified as an avoidant. So, you know, hey, you're not a special snowflake if your ex is an avoidant, okay? But instead of just saying like, oh yeah, they pull away whenever things get too real. If you look at them as an avoidant and you say they're doing that, it becomes like you're looking at them like some sort of bizarre animal. Like, you know, yeah, of course the female of this species nests this way. It's instinct or something. But what I want you to do instead is to look more at the emotional reason why they might be doing that. They're not just avoiding emotional conversations or withdrawing or whatever because that's genetically how they're hardwired to do it. They're doing it because they're feeling something. And they're feeling that if they withdraw or if they pull away or if they put distance between you or something, that it's going to help them to feel better. That's going to help them to get their emotional needs met. And if you can remember that, and if you can stay tuned into that, then that's going to allow you to connect with them so much more, rather than just sort of saying like, well, you're this kind of person and therefore you're going to do that. But if you instead say, well, you're going to do that, what must you be feeling in order to do that? You know, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman or an anxiously attached person or a avoidant person or a securely attached person, or whether you're an INFJ or an ESTP, or you have this love language or that love language or anything else in between. People are doing things because they have an emotional feeling that's causing them and motivating them to behave in a certain way. And if you can remember that, you're going to be able to stay much more emotionally connected to them than if you just say, oh, well, you're this alien thing called a woman, and women are, emotionally, volatile or something like that. No, you're emotionally volatile because they're feeling something, just the way that you may feel something, just the way that you may have an emotional experience that fluctuates throughout the day or whatever. Anyway, that's my little soapbox. By the way, if you like these videos that I do, please make sure that you hit the thumbs up button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And most importantly, hit the notification bell while you are subscribing as well too. This really helps me a lot. What do you think about my whole controversial opinion about attachment styles? Drop a comment down below and let me know. Anyway, trap number 3 is focusing too much on them and on not enough on how you're showing up. Now, I get it. We want to be back together with them. Okay, first of all, that's the whole, relationship focus versus connection focus thing that we talked about, trap number 1. One way that this also shows up as well too is focusing too much on them. Like, what's their body language? How long did it take them to text me back? Did it take them, 30 minutes, or did it take them 4 hours, or did it take them 4 days? What does that mean? How come they didn't text me back sooner? Is it because they're dating someone else? Why are they following that attractive person of the opposite sex on Instagram? Why did they stop following this person? Why do they keep liking this person's posts? Why do they keep commenting on this person? Whose arm is that in that photo that's around their neck? All that sort of stuff. If we start to overthink this too much, then we take too much focus and we put it on them, and we lose touch with who we are being and how we're showing up. Like, are we showing up as a genuine person? Are we showing up as someone who is, aligned with our own values? Are we showing up as someone who's showing them that we can be the dream partner that they want to have in a relationship? Or are we showing up as anxious and insecure, as being, overly, ruminating on the things that they're doing, overly analyzing the things that they're doing and saying, etc.? Because let me tell you, if you're overly analyzing what your ex is doing and saying, that's probably not a huge indicator of the kind of partner that most people want to be with. I want to be with someone who's just going to be able to take it easy, who's going to be able to connect with me, who's going to be able to be understanding and compassionate, not someone who's going to overanalyze everything that I do. And I imagine probably most people are like that. We have to be mindful about how we show up. So start thinking about the energy that you're bringing to the interaction and the conversations. Trap number 4 is putting on an act. Making it look or seem a certain way when the two of you are interacting. So, this might be like, I have to look like I'm a macho alpha male, or I have to look like I'm a super feminine woman, or I have to, make it seem like I'm always happy whenever I'm around you, or I have to make it seem like we're having a good time. I have to make it seem romantic. It has to look romantic. So let's go to this romantic place so that the server at the place thinks that we're on a date or something like that. Because if people think that we're on a date, then maybe you'll start to feel like we're on a date, and then maybe you'll start to fall in love with me again. And maybe they'll start to make comments like, oh, aren't the two of you cute? And that'll start to get you thinking or something like that. These are sorts of things that do more harm than good. Because when we start to force ourselves or jam ourselves into some sort of mold about what we think we need to be or what we think it needs to look like in order for our partner to accept us and take us in, then we become more disconnected from who we really are. And of course, I want you to be in a relationship where you can be loved for who you are. That's probably one of the things I say most often, is you deserve to be loved for who you are. And that's not going to happen if you have to put on a performance act in order to be in the relationship that you want. So what we want to do is we want to stay connected to who we are, show up authentically. And the reason for this is because I want you to have the kind of relationship where you can just relax into your partner's arms knowing that they love you for who you are, not because you use the right reverse psychology strategy, or you pretended to be someone, or you acted a certain way or something, but just because you are who you are. Spoiler alert, that's a huge hack for having a great, peaceful, harmonious relationship, is to learn how to be loved for who you are and to set things up so that you can do that rather than putting on some sort of performance piece in order to get the kind of relationship that you want. Trap number 5 is using no contact as your default tool. Controversy time. Okay, I know that there's probably lots of other videos that you're watching that say do no contact all the time. Always do no contact. If your ex doesn't talk to you, do no contact. If your ex ignores you, do no contact. If your ex is angry at you, do no contact. If your ex is in a rebound relationship, do no contact. If your ex, says that the two of you are never getting back together, do no contact. If your ex says that they're confused and they don't know if they want to get back together, you do no contact. Do no contact all the time. That's not my opinion. That's not what I believe most people need. Most people don't need to use no contact. Of course, there is a time and place for it. Of course, it is a tool that can be useful sometimes, but I don't think that you should just turn your brain off and just retreat into no contact anytime things don't go the way that you want them to. Why? Because no contact sends a huge deal breaker message a lot of the times if someone is legitimately interested in being in a relationship with you. No contact basically sends the message of when the going gets hard, I give up. When the going gets hard, I walk away. When the going gets hard, I shut down. Now, is that the kind of person that you might want to be married to? Is that the kind of person that you think would make a great parent for your future children or current children? Is that the kind of person that you would want to go through a hard time with? Maybe a tough medical diagnosis, a loss in the family, or some other sort of challenge in your life? Probably not. So we have to be careful about when we use no contact because it can send the exact opposite message of what we want to send out sometimes. And so we want to be kind of mindful about what we are doing, what the situation actually needs in the moment. And if that is something that you want to learn more about, when it comes to all of these traps, one thing that I think would be really helpful for you is to join us inside of the X Solution program. It's our flagship course on saving your relationship. You can find out more about it over at modernlove.life/ESP. It helps you to build an emotional connection without falling into any of these traps that we've talked about in this video. And it helps you to create the possibility of your ex seeing a future together with you by focusing on that emotional connection rather than mind games or power struggles or reverse psychology or any of that other, high school level BS. If you want to join us, we'd love to have you with us. Go ahead and check it out. If it seems like a good fit for you, hey, again, we'd love to have you with us and we would invite you to join us. Anyway, with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. Go ahead and drop a comment down below letting me know you made it all the way to the end. It makes me so happy. Anyway, take care and I'll talk to you next time.